Good morning, listeners. Welcome once again to Morning Coffee Book Reviews. We have Alok Kumar once again. As you already know, he is the permanent guest for the show, and he's a professor who has worked at Vrindavan University, ex-professor in philosophy. Now he's with us for our second episode, and the surprise is we don't know what book he's going to talk about. So, Alok, welcome to the show. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir, and thank you so much for inviting me once again. The book that I'm going to review today is a book by the name of Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal. This book is by the famous author Ayn Rand, one of the most famous novelists of America, and whose books are still popular. You'll find many of her books on stalls everywhere. Now, why I take up this book today is because it's relevant and it's related to a particular news story that I saw a couple of days back. You remember John McAfee, the founder of this antivirus software. He died a couple of
We heard the news,
days back. Yeah, he died in Spain, and in fact, he didn't die. He committed suicide in a prison in Spain. And the reason he committed suicide was because he was on the run from the American government because he was being investigated for charges of embezzlement and tax evasion. So John McAfee is, as you all know, is a famous founder of the antivirus software McAfee, which McAfee Virus Scan is so popular. It's almost synonymous with antivirus software. And John McAfee was the pioneer in this field. Back in 1980s, when nobody had even thought of that one day viruses on internet are going to be such a big issue, he was the pioneer who started this software company. He built it up and he expanded it. It became profitable. It became the biggest name in the antivirus industry.
So how is this related to what we are referring to?
Yes, that's what I'm coming to. That's exactly what I'm coming to, and that's the interesting part. You see, McAfee was a pioneer capitalist. Okay, happened was this: McAfee finally started living a lifestyle which actually he sold McAfee company to Intel for billions of dollars, and then he went into a completely different lifestyle. Now, what happened was, at the same time, he started being investigated for tax evasion purposes. Now, this is where capitalism comes in, and this is where the book Capitalism by Ayn Rand is relevant. You see, McAfee believed in a philosophy of which is known as libertarianism. Libertarianism believes that a particular society should be structured in a way that people who are innovative, who create wealth, who create technologies in the 20th century, they should not be penalized for being creative. The idea of capitalism is this: that there is a market, there are people who have different capacities and abilities, and the idea of capitalism is that the free market will decide who should prosper and who should not, who should be wealthy, who should not. It all depends on what you make of your own life.
Right.
The state, the government has no role to play in then trying to create a leveling field for everyone, trying to create, trying to help the poor. The whole philosophy of libertarianism is this: that the role of the government is simply to create a leveling playing field, create the opportunities for everyone. Then it has to, it is bound to, it is obligated to leave people to themselves. Their life is their own. They should decide what to do with their life. The government shouldn't intervene.
Right.
That's the whole philosophy of libertarianism. That's an economic and a social philosophy. Now, this is where Ayn Rand's Capitalism book comes in. Capitalism, an Unknown Ideal, came out way back in 1933 or 30. I'm sorry, it came out in 1960s. Sorry, in 60s. So that's quite like 50, 60 years back. Now, Ayn Rand is the sort of the you can call her the guru of libertarian philosophy. She is the one who is held in the highest esteem by those who subscribe to the philosophy of libertarianism, which is of free market capitalism, and each person should be allowed the freedom to develop his abilities. He has the right to achieve as much wealth as possible. Taxing his wealth to benefit others is a form of stealing, according to libertarian philosophy. He has done what he has done through his own effort, right? He has created benefit for the whole society. Yeah, you have some question to ask?
Not as of now. Anything specifically in particular you remember, an event or an anecdote in that book? Anything that you can recall right now at this moment?
Yeah, it's a philosophical book actually, and it has got a lot of chapters about the philosophy of capitalism and how the modern society, the modern world actually is anti-capitalist. And McAfee, who believed in libertarian philosophy, he was being charged for tax evasion, but the problem is McAfee's principles, his philosophy was that I shouldn't pay taxes. The government, I have created my own wealth. Why should I be charged a higher amount of tax just because I have earned money and give it out to those who have done nothing in the name of helping? That's what he was against, and that's what finally he fought for it for the whole of his life. And finally, last week he died for it, because in Spain, where he was living outside USA, because he was always under the threat of being imprisoned in US, but finally a Spanish court was about to extradite him to the United States, and he was going to be kept in US jail, and that's when he decided that his fight is over, his philosophy is not going to be accepted. And McAfee, the founder of Antivirus Scan, a billionaire who sold all his wealth and started living a very crazy kind of a lifestyle. He was 75 actually, and he committed suicide. So what I'm saying is, McAfee is related to this book by Ayn Rand. McAfee was very influenced by Ayn Rand. He was a libertarian who believed in the philosophy of free market capitalism and who believed that taxing the wealth of people is stealing by the government. It's not justified. It's not moral. It's an immoral thing. And the whole idea that a government needs to intervene in a market to ensure equitable distribution of wealth, this whole idea is what is capitalism according to Ayn Rand is not. So Ayn Rand in this book is actually glorifying all those people who made wealth but who are being punished by the government, by the courts, by the social morality, just because they happen to be wealthy, just because they happen to create wealth for society, and just because their wealth is supposed to be a crime. Whereas what Ayn Rand is saying is that is how a capitalist society or free market society should work, and that's a just society. It's a society that is justice. When you allow people freedom to do what you do with your life, then you punish those who have created wealth in their life through their innovation, through their knowledge, through their capitalistic entrepreneurship. You punish them like you punished McAfee. McAfee was being hounded because of tax evasion, but the whole point is McAfee was paying the amount of taxes that he thought was required for him to pay. But over and above that, the US wanted to penalize him for several other reasons. And McAfee said that he was being hounded because he is so wealthy. But he said that I created this wealth. What right do you have to steal it away from it? It's nothing like, it's like thieving. It's like stealing.
Right.
right? So Capitalism and Unknown Ideals is a collection of essays in the 1960s by this great political philosopher Ayn Rand, and that's the book that I would recommend everyone to go through if they want to understand the philosophy of McAfee, who died last week. So,
Sounds very interesting. Yeah, very interesting book. I'm sure it will be a good read.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add today, Alok?
No, that's the book I was reading, and because it's so relevant to the current affairs, current news items, so that's why I think
absolutely.
I should
Absolutely makes sense. It was a good choice talking about this book today. Thank you very much for your time, Alok. Thank you very much, listeners. We shall be back again with another episode. Take care till then. Bye-bye.